Welcome to Singapore Property Talk La. This is your shortcut to, well, being truly well informed about the dynamic world of real estate here. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something that really touches almost everyone, whether you're looking for your first home, maybe upgrading, or just keeping an eye on the market. We're talking about the evolving and I think increasingly critical role of property agents in Singapore. We're going to unpack the latest insights, some surprising facts perhaps, and definitely the crucial developments that are redefining what it even means to engage a property agent today. Oh, and before we really jump into this fascinating conversation, please make sure to like this deep dive and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any of our latest insights.
Yeah, we've truly gathered some fascinating material for you today. It reveals not just what is changing for agents, on the ground, but also why these transformations are so, well, profoundly critical for you, the consumer, especially when you're navigating what is arguably one of the biggest financial and, let's face it, emotional transactions of your life here in Singapore. We'll definitely explore how these changes can directly benefit you and maybe why an agent might be more indispensable now than ever before.
Okay, so let's really unpack this. Singapore's property agent landscape. It's transforming at an incredible pace. It's been quite fascinating to watch, actually. We're seeing a record high in numbers. Think about this. 35,251 registered agents as of January 2024. That's a pretty significant rise from just over 30,000 back in 2020. So, I mean, it certainly looks like a booming field from the outside, right? But what does that really tell us about who's entering the industry?
Well, what's truly fascinating here, I think, beyond just the sheer numbers, is this undeniable shift in demographics within that growing pool. So, for instance, take a major agency like ERA. A striking 55% of their new agents joining last year were actually below 35 years old. Now, compare that to just 40% back in 2021. That's a big jump. So, this clearly signals a new wave, younger professionals, often more tech-savvy, digitally native people entering the field. And for you, the consumer, this means you might encounter agents who are just, well, far more adept at leveraging social media for property exposure, maybe, or perhaps agents who are really quick to adopt new data analytics tools to give you that edge in a fast-moving market. But it also means you might need to look for slightly different qualities in your agent, maybe not just years of experience, but also adaptability, digital fluency, and perhaps a fresh perspective.
That's a really interesting point about the younger demographic. And it does feel like the industry has truly worked hard to shed that old cowboy image, especially since the Council for Estate Agencies, the CEA, was set up back in late 2010. The entry exams, for example, they're known for being notoriously tough, a challenging 60% passing mark. That definitely helps elevate the profession's standing, and certainly not just a casual gig anymore, which I think has to be a good thing for everyone, right? But what specifically, beyond tougher exams and younger people coming in, has really driven this shift in perception? What kind of professional is emerging now?
That's precisely where the really profound transformation lies. The role itself has evolved so significantly beyond just being a salesperson. Agents now, they're expected to be incredibly adept in digital marketing, thinking about creating engaging video tours, running targeted social media campaigns, that kind of thing. They also really need to be proficient in financial analysis, guiding clients through complex affordability calculations, loan structures, even navigating tricky things like additional buyer's stamp duty. And perhaps most critically, they're increasingly offering quite comprehensive financial planning, looking at your entire portfolio, not just a single property deal. Like you said, this isn't just a side gig anymore. It's a demanding profession, requires a broad and frankly constantly evolving skill set.
Right, and well, we've all seen those millionaire agent stories, haven't we? You know the headlines. Agents like Christian O reportedly earning $1 million in commission in a single year, buying multiple properties. Or Swan H. Tet O, a rising millionaire. And then there are those viral clips like, remember that ERA TikTok video showcasing an agent's S54,700 outfit? It definitely sparks conversations, doesn't it? And maybe for some, a bit of skepticism. So what about that? The public perception of these, let's say, flashy lifestyles. How does that actually sit with consumers? How do agencies manage that image?
That's a really valid and important question you raise. How does that perceived lavishness impact trust? Our sources suggest it's actually quite a nuanced reality. While it's true, some clients might be drawn to agents projecting success, maybe seeing it as a sign of capability. The major agencies like Propnex and ERA, they're acutely aware of this perception. They actually have quite strict guidelines for professionalism. And they actively train agents to be mindful of their online presence. They get it. They understand that while a flashy image might grab attention, what truly builds lasting trust is competence, integrity, and transparency. The reality is, it's a tough business. It requires immense discipline, relentless resourcefulness, huge upfront investment behind the scenes. It's far beyond what's often portrayed on social media. So I think the key insight here for you, the listener, is to understand you're not just paying for a transaction, you're paying for an agent's significant upfront investment and the hidden grit needed to navigate a highly competitive market, often at their own personal financial risk. That should probably shape your expectations and maybe your appreciation of their true value.
That context about the actual discipline and resourcefulness behind it all is incredibly insightful. Definitely puts things in perspective. But here's a question I think is on everyone's mind, especially with all these new digital options popping up. In an age where HDB has its new direct service, letting homeowners list flats directly. You've got flat fee models like home seller charging, estimate $1,999 for an HDB resale, claiming to save clients $10,000 on a $600,000 flat. A lot of people are asking, are property agents still necessary? It certainly looks tempting to just bypass them, doesn't it?
It's a crucial question, absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really comes down to understanding the true costs and the holistic value that agents bring, especially when you look at those seemingly cheaper alternatives. Now, these direct online listings and flat fee models like Home Seller, they definitely offer apparent cost savings upfront. But it's really crucial for you to understand the trade-offs involved. You might save on commission. Yes, that's true. But then you're fully responsible for everything else. All the marketing, the negotiations, navigating the legal paperwork, mitigating potential pitfalls, which honestly can be immensely time-consuming, incredibly complex, and frankly, quite stressful without professional guidance. Property agents, on the other hand, they bear significant operational expenses, often overlooked by the public. These aren't just small costs either. We're talking substantial personal marketing campaigns, subscriptions to sophisticated data analytics tools for market insights, professional home staging advice, high-quality video production for listings, and perhaps most crucially, those hefty listing fees on major portals like Property Guru. Those fees can range anywhere from $1,400 to over $20,000 annually. And top agents, they might even spend upwards of $50,000 a year just on listings alone, simply to ensure their properties get maximum exposure.
Wow, those are really substantial upfront costs, things most consumers probably don't even think about. And like you said, these costs are all incurred upfront, even if a deal doesn't actually materialize in the end. Clients can just walk away anytime, leaving the agents to absorb those losses. It's definitely not a guaranteed income stream. And all that effort often goes uncompensated if a transaction falls through. So given that kind of precarious income structure, one might naturally wonder, does being commission-based inherently mean an agent is purely profit-motivated, always pushing for the highest price, even if it's not ideal for the client?
That's a very valid and I think crucial question that many consumers probably ponder. It really touches on the heart of trust in this profession. But our sources actually share some pretty compelling examples that challenge that perception. For instance, Mr. Swan, who we mentioned earlier, he's apparently well known for dissuading clients from unsuitable investments, prioritizing long-term relationships and frank, unbiased advice over maybe a quick commission that wouldn't serve the client's best interest in the long run. You see, these agents are increasingly seen as crucial consultants, not just salespeople. They're guiding clients through complex market trends, analyzing the pros and cons of different property types, helping them make truly informed decisions that align with their long-term financial and lifestyle goals. It's really about providing strategic counsel, not just facilitating a sale.
Yeah. That consulting role, it must be particularly vital in what we might call complex or emotional transactions. It's not always just about crunching the numbers, is it? Think about helping a grieving family sell a beloved home. That could be an incredibly sensitive process. Or managing those incredibly intricate timelines when a big family needs to move out of one place and into another simultaneously. Maybe during a school term or amidst enrollment deadlines. You mentioned Aaron Coe, an ex-teacher. He became an agent himself after experiencing just how invaluable that kind of compassionate and logistical assistance was firsthand during his own stressful family move. It's clearly about so much more than just the commission then, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In those moments, an agent isn't just a salesperson. They're almost like part therapist, part project manager, part diplomat, all rolled into one. I've heard stories where agents have literally stepped in to help pack boxes or, mediate family disagreements over seemingly minor details. It's that human touch, that comprehensive project management that Well, AI simply cannot replicate, especially when emotions are running high and the stakes are even higher. On a slightly different note, there's also this ongoing debate about whether there's an oversupply of agents in Singapore. You mentioned that NUS poll, 65% of senior industry execs felt there were too many. But agencies argue that, well, not all registered agents were actually active. They contend that market forces, not artificial caps, should determine the numbers, especially with Singapore's population crossing 6 million and the sheer number of properties increasing year after year alongside the growing complexity of transactions. So it isn't just about having more agents, it's about having enough qualified agents to serve a growing and increasingly sophisticated market.
Okay, so understanding all of this, what does this whole evolving landscape ultimately mean for you, the consumer? The industry is definitely responding directly to consumer expectations, which is a really great sign, I think. A recent survey showed a record 92% consumer satisfaction with property agents. That's fantastic. Yet 74% also expect agents to close at least one deal a year, just to ensure they stay updated on the latest rules and guidelines. So that shows a clear demand for active, current, and highly professional practitioners.
Exactly. And that demand for active professionals is precisely why Project ADPT is coming into play. It's quite significant. From October 2025, property agents will need to clock a hefty 16 hours of annual training just to renew their licenses. Now, that's a substantial jump from the current 6 to 9 hours. This rigorous requirement includes 12 hours of structured learning covering essential topics like ethics, property laws, regulations, and there's even a target to eventually raise it further to 24 hours. So this shows a really robust commitment to continuous learning and competency. It ensures that the agent you engage isn't just experienced, but consistently updated with the latest industry knowledge and best practices.
Right. And the CEA, the Council for Estate Agencies, they're also tightening the accreditation criteria for these training courses, introducing compulsory assessments, even making course feedback publicly available. All of this is designed to ensure high-quality, relevant training. So you'll have more assurance about your agent's current knowledge and professionalism, which, let's be honest, is incredibly valuable peace of mind in such a complex market.
Definitely. And what's truly fascinating here, and maybe often goes unnoticed by the average consumer, is the increasing recognition of agents as crucial gatekeepers against illicit activities, like money laundering. The Anti-Money Laundering and Other Matters Bill, which passed in April, it significantly strengthens penalties. And crucially, it now requires agents to conduct due diligence on unrepresented parties in a transaction, not just their own clients. This really elevates their role far beyond just sales. It's a position of significant public trust and responsibility. And for you, this translates to heightened security, a stronger safeguard against illicit activities in your property transaction, although it might involve more rigorous verification steps on both sides. But it's a critical layer of protection for the entire market.
And beyond just regulations, the industry itself is also rapidly embracing digitalization, isn't it? That recent merger of the Singapore Estate Agents Association, and the Institute of Estate Agents, forming a powerful new body with over 15,000 members. That signifies a really unified push for professionalism and, well, collective strength. They've even launched a new co-broking platform with EdgeProp. It's free for members until the end of 2025, specifically designed, it seems, to help agents manage those rising operational costs we talked about earlier. It's really about empowering agents with better tools so they can serve you better.
Exactly right. Agents are increasingly leveraging advanced AI apps and tools for everything from analyzing complex property trends to performing rapid financial calculations, even, in some cases, predicting future market movements. But this digital adoption, it isn't about replacing the human touch. Not at all. It's really about significantly enhancing their consultative capabilities, directly benefiting their clients with better, faster, and more data-driven service. It's about enabling them to provide truly strategic advice.
Okay, so let's bring all of this back to, well, your next property decision. Singapore's property market is undeniably resilient. Prices have been climbing steadily, although the pace has moderated recently. And here's an interesting trend. Interest rates are generally expected to decline between 2025 and 2027. The 3-month SORA, that key benchmark for floating mortgage rates here, is trending lower. That could potentially bring mortgage rates down to a more comfortable 2-3%. Which certainly sounds like good news for buyers, doesn't it?
It does seem positive on the surface, yes. But the market's complexity really lies in that critically low housing supply. It continues to put upward pressure on prices. New private residential completions, they're projected to be well below the 10-year average until at least 2027. And in 2025, we're going to see the lowest number of HDB flats reaching their minimum occupation period, their MOP, the time before they can be sold in 11 years. So this scarcity, Combined with strong demand from HDB upgraders and continued global wealth migration into Singapore, it means developers are holding prices pretty firm. So the takeaway is, while interest rates might fall, property prices aren't necessarily following suit because of that underlying supply-demand imbalance. It's tricky.
Exactly. And this is precisely why having an expert guide becomes so paramount. They can help you navigate these new price benchmarks for, say, 2025 new launches, like OCR, outside Central Region condos, potentially at $2,200, $2,700 per square foot, RCR, rest of Central Region, City Fringe, maybe $2,600, $2,800 PSF, and new ECs, those executive condominiums, possibly starting from $1,600 PSF. I mean, without an agent, these numbers can be just overwhelming. And understanding what they truly mean for your specific budget and your long-term plans, it's almost impossible on your own.
Precisely. Your agent provides that critical understanding of these nuanced market trends. They help you with those complex financial calculations, accounting for everything from stamp duties to renovation costs. And they offer tailored advice. Whether you're considering, say, a new launch with progressive payments, or maybe an EC with its specific eligibility rules, or perhaps a resale private property for immediate move-in, they synthesize all this vast amount of information, helping you make a decision that's data-driven, yes, but also personally aligned with your needs. In what is truly a very complex and nuanced market, they're not just finding you a house, they're really helping you craft a strategy.
Yeah. Ultimately, a property transaction, it's so much more than just a financial exchange. It's often a really significant life event, fraught with emotional ups and downs, logistical challenges, and that human element, the guidance through those personal hurdles. That's truly where a professional, empathetic agent provides irreplaceable value, something no algorithm or direct listing platform can really replicate.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it seems abundantly clear that while the property landscape is constantly shifting and new digital tools are always emerging, the critical importance of engaging a well-informed, highly professional property agent remains paramount, maybe even more so now. Their evolving role as strategic consultants equipped with enhanced training, digital tools, a deep understanding of market complexities, it's crucial for you to navigate today's nuanced market with confidence.
Absolutely. They're there to ensure your knowledge grows, that your transactions are secure, and ultimately that you achieve your property goals not just efficiently, but with genuine peace of mind.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. As AI continues to advance and raw information becomes, well, ubiquitous, what new, perhaps even more profound human-centric skills will you start seeking in your property agent? Beyond just interpreting data, how will your expectations of a property agent evolve in the coming years, challenging them to provide even greater, more human-centric value? It's definitely something worth pondering for your next property journey.